Do you miss 2016 or do you just miss being a kid? This is a question that one of my friends recently posed to me, and it really made me think because I honestly couldn't answer him because I don't know if there is a right answer. I mean, it's different for everybody. I think the truth is we probably miss both. And look, before I even start, I just want to say I was born in '06, meaning I was like 9 years old, turning 10 in 2016. And the friend who asked me the question that prompted this video is only about a year older than me, so he would have been a kid in 2016 too. But that basically means I was just slightly too young to really remember much. All I know is I had a lot of fun, but that's exactly what this video is about. I barely remember 2016. So, is my memory skewed or was it genuinely a better time? Look, if I'm being honest, I hope this video doesn't reach a younger audience because if I can barely remember 2016, there's no way someone born in like 2011 is going to feel the same level of nostalgia. My actual goal for this video is to reach an older group of audience. I mean, I don't mean older as in boomers or Gen X like my parents, but older as in the group of people who were teenagers during the time. In my mind, they were the youngest group of people who actually got to experience and remember this peak era from 2013, 2014 to 2018. By now, they're probably all in their 20s to maybe early 30s, so they'd likely remember 2016. I mean, I'm kind of jealous of them if I'm being honest, because I was only a couple years off. It makes me wish I was born between like 97 to '03, but either way, I just wanted to say that because if this video somehow finds an audience, I don't want the comments to be a bunch of kids claiming they remember 2016 when they were born in like 2013, right? Anyways, I think a good way to kind of start the discussion would be to actually reflect on the goated time that 2016 was. I mean, looking back, we seriously had it all and kind of took it for granted. Like, think about the internet culture. We had shit like Pokemon Go, the mannequin challenge, water bottle flips, and like what felt like new trends every 2 weeks. Social media was at a peak too. Like, we had a golden era of YouTube content, Snapchat memories, the fucking Rio de Janeiro filter on Instagram, and I think it was the year TikTok was released too. But seriously, the ones who actually lived through this era will probably remember how different it all really was. The internet culture, social media, games, fashion, sense of humor, online communities, social interactions, school, and tons more were all so different from how they are today. And there's two things I decided to say for last on that list of the peak things in 2016, because they hold the most dear to my heart, and that would be music and cars. Look, I don't want to dive too deep into my personal interests in a video that's meant for a broad audience, but I really like music and I really like cars. And, I wouldn't even narrow those two down to just 2016. I'd go as far as to say almost all of the 2010s were peak for both of my personal interests there, but I'm gonna avoid the topic of cars because it's kind of irrelevant in this video. I just wanted to mention it. Fellow enthusiasts will probably understand the 2010s automotive era was fucking peak. But either way, 2010's music is a huge one, right? It gave us the SoundCloud era, where a lot of my favorite artists came up in the second wave of SoundCloud rap. Fun fact, if you know, you know. That was between like 2015 to 2017. I mean, just off the dome, we had huge names like Lil Peep, X, Uzi, Cardi, fucking Suicide Boys, and like a bunch of other names that were already established from like the early 2010s. And side note, I guess, rest in peace to all the artists from back then who never lived to see their full potential, because there was a scary amount of death back in those days for whatever reason. I guess they didn't call it the Zandemic for nothing. Either way, it felt like new tracks were coming out weekly and basically revolutionizing the game with every release. I mean, I could deadass talk about the hundreds of amazing artists, collectives, and feature projects from back then for like an entire video. Like, 2016 was so fucking lit that there's literally artists whose entire personality is based on that stuff. Hint, hint, fucking Smoke Dope 2016, bro. Yo, I love that guy. Shout out Smoke Dope 2016. His music is awesome. He seems like a really cool guy too. But either way, as I said at the start, I was a little too young for the majority of this stuff, but I still recall it being so much fun, and there was just so much creativity too. But all good things must come to an end, which just leads us to the next point. I mean, was 2016 really anything more than just another year? I know I just raved about how awesome 2016 was for a couple of minutes, especially in the music industry, but it's time to start poking holes in the argument. Think about it in the sense of the current day society. Would 2016 actually feel as magical as we say it was if we experienced it for the first time today? I mean, most people's instinct would be to say yes, but I think that's just a rosy retrospection. We're probably remembering 2016 for only the good bits, because there was a lot of negative shit that happened back then that still impacts us like a decade later. I mean, to start, there was a weird amount of celebrity deaths. We lost people like David Bowie, Prince, Muhammad Ali, Carrie Fisher, and like 10 plus other really big names. There was also a lot of political unrest, like wars and stuff in the Middle East, but I mean, that's been going on since the dawn of man anyways, and honestly, it looks far worse today than it was back then. But a big thing is, I also remember people freaking out when Trump got elected in 2016. I was literally in 5th grade, so obviously I didn't care, but there's no doubt that it was a huge talking point, or like a huge point of conflict for like a lot of people. And on top of all of that, there was also a lot of leaked documents and videos of pretty powerful people doing and saying some heinous shit. But lastly, I guess, honorable mention here, the 2016 creepy clown scares. I mean, that stuff terrified me when I was young, but looking back, it was really stupid, but whatever. Even if we forget all of that negative stuff, there's still the fact that back then, we were all just kids. And being a kid is almost just always naturally fun. Life was easier, school ended at 3 p.m., we had no responsibilities, summers felt endless, every video game felt new, every friendship felt permanent, and every month felt huge. But as much as it sucks to say, we're all grown up now. And maybe we aren't nostalgic for a calendar year, but instead nostalgic for a version of ourselves that we miss. Even then, I recall seeing TikToks about being a teenager during this era, and the comments stuck out to me because pretty much everyone said they were depressed. And I guess that's the big paradox or whatever, because it was the happiest depression I have ever seen back then, right? But look, I was 15 in 2021. I was depressed as shit. How's that different from someone who was 15 in 2016? They were probably depressed too, right? I think the biggest difference is, one, that depression was weirdly glamorized back then. Like, it was almost seen as a method of self-expression. Like, that's probably why everyone back then had cool colored dyed hair and sometimes bright colored clothes and stuff. Fucking, what was it? Lil Peep in his pink and blue jacket with the skulls and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I fuck with all that stuff heavy. But either way, the people like me who were kids at the time just never really understood any of it. So instead of seeing depression, political unrest, a drug crisis, and a number of other things, we just all saw it through the eyes of innocent children. So again, do you miss 2016, or do you just miss being a kid? If we somehow transported ourselves back to 2016 tomorrow, would we actually be happy, or would we just bring all of our current problems with us? Like, for me, if I was teleported back to 2016, I'd probably be happy as shit, but then I'd remember that I'm still the exact same loser and I have all the same problems as before. Granted, I'd probably find a way to enjoy myself, but that still doesn't change the truth. The magic of 2016 won't just somehow return. And why, you might ask? Because the magic wasn't in the year. At least that's what I think. A lot of the magic was you. It was that childlike whimsy. I can't pronounce that word correct. Childlike whimsy. Like, it was back when we were imaginative, creative, and all had a sense of wonder. That stuff kind of just dwindles away with age as we start to see how reality functions. And it's sad, but it's life. But honestly, there's kind of an uncomfortable realization in all of this. Maybe 2016 really was special, or maybe 2016 was only special because it met us at the perfect moment in our lives. I actually asked my mom one time, like a while back, if 2016 was special to her, and she basically just said it was like any other year, so pretty much no. So maybe 2016 really wasn't as special as we remember it to be. Maybe we were just young, naive, and having fun as kids and teenagers are supposed to do. We remember 2016 as a special time because it was probably our first time experiencing a lot of stuff. The first favorite game, first online friends, first viral videos, first songs you replayed 1,000 times, and you just can't recreate a first experience. So despite the way our world is today, who's to say the next generation of kids aren't enjoying their childhood like we did back in 2016? Their childhood in 2026 will never look like ours did in 2016, but our childhoods in 2016 didn't look like the ones in 2006. Do you see what I'm getting at? Time changes, and so do people, so does the world. So what's the point of dwelling in the past? To be fair, I also do look back at those days of 2016 fondly, despite the fact I was very, very young. But like I said, I was just a stupid kid, and the rest of us probably were too. But I can't lie, as much as I feel like I'm hating on 2016 or living in the past, the sunsets and the air and stuff did feel a little different back then, but that low-key might just be like fucking pollution. Either way, I understand what people say when they say the air back then felt different, but I still believe we might dwell in the past a little too much. Either way, as of 2026, I think we're currently in a dangerous stage of nostalgia where we believe our best years already happened. Most people who miss 2016 aren't actually missing 2016. They're just like me, I guess. They're missing wonder, missing excitement, missing curiosity, and while that's something you can still have, it'll never be in the same form as when you were a kid. In the end, And whether 2026 feels like your new 2016 is completely up to you. For some, it'll be the best year of their life, and for others, it won't. But just know 2016 wasn't special because it was 2016. It was special because you only got to experience it once. So if 2016 doesn't feel the same way right now, get out there and have some fun. In the wise words of a man I mentioned earlier in this video, XXX Tentacion.
Nigga, make life your bitch. That's how I see it. Nigga, make everything in life your bitch.
And look, before I finally shut up, stop thinking 10 years back and dwelling in nostalgia. Stop trying to replicate 2016 and start trying to shape 2026. Because whether you realize it or not, the thing you miss about 2016 might not just be the music, trends, games, or the internet. It might just be the person you were when all of those things existed. So before you spend another day wishing it was 2016 again, ask yourself, do you really miss 2016? Or do you just miss being a kid? Thank you for watching. Good night. Yo, editor's note here. Well, I don't have an editor, it's just me. But despite the way I frame this video, I actually do miss 2016, like really, really bad sometimes. But we move on, right? Fuck it, we ball. Also, while editing this, yo, it low-key hurt. Because, like, from, like, middle school to, like, a little after high school, bro, I was the biggest Lil Peep fan. And, like, seeing his face again, it was like seeing an old friend while editing this. Because I haven't bumped this shit as much as I used to. No disrespect. Shout out to all my Lil Peep fans out there. I love his music. Okay, bye.